Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. I hate to break it to you guys, but this guitar, it is very special. That's right, this is the mod collection guitar that I teased you guys on the last demo shop recap video. It is translucent, metallic, wild berry finish. And I'm just happy to check out my first mod collection guitar. Now, are the mod collections really that different from the demo shop modified guitars? Probably not. I mean, they both say mod on the back, but it is a slightly different division. So, you know, a review and demo for each of them. Like, you can check out my other demo shop mod videos, such as that Sparkle Silverburst custom, which was really cool. So this is the first one from the new one. I'll be honest, the more and more I looked at the photos on this guitar, the less I liked it, but we'll just have to see. What does it look like in person here? Here we go. What kind of monstrosity is this? Okay, I'm already seeing some things that I forgot to know about, or just things that didn't necessarily show up in the photos listing. Oh, wow. Okay, so this smells like freshly painted lacquer. It's got that red belly there, but when you catch it in the light, it all turns blue. That is freaky. How did they do that? So when they said translucent metallic wild berry, they really did mean translucent blueberry finish. That's cool how they do that. The way that you can hide that redness in it. Like, it might not be everybody's favorite finish. Oh, man. So that's what we were seeing on the back. So it's not necessarily a burst job like I was thinking. It's just the same phenomenon that's on the burst of the top. It does it on the back. So there's areas when you get it in the light, it's blue. Other times it appears red when you get less light. So it's not necessarily a burst job on the neck like I was thinking. Okay. All right, man, that is really great way to show it on the headstock. It just all turns blue and then it turns red. I could see them having a lot of fun with stuff like this. Okay, so final verdict on that, seeing it in person, yeah, it's kind of cool. I could see this working with other color schemes pretty well too. Now, as far as the rest of the guitar, they didn't do too much. Like, they swapped out the tuners to have something a little bit more stylized for this thing. But they did do a little bit something else with our pickups. But I think we will save that for the workbench before I talk too much into it. The neck is original. The bridge has been slightly changed with an older out of production pickup. But this is a complete gloss finish, which is nice. I mean, they've got a few areas that aren't so perfect, but they did disclose those. Like, you'd think if they're refinishing it, couldn't they touch it up again? But maybe it happened during like the buffing process that they went too far in that area. And that's cool how they have that everywhere on this guitar, because the top refins only out of the demo shop and mod collection, they kind of make me sad because they're only half as good as they should be. So before we throw this thing on the workbench to take an individual look at its parts and specs, just in case you've been confused this whole time, like you're new to the show, the mod collection and demo shop is something that Gibson updates Tuesday through Thursday. So Tuesday and Thursday, that's when you find it on the demo shop on Reverb. Wednesday, it restocks on Gibson's actual website. So the new mod collection is only listed on their website. These things sell so fast. Like, I bought this one within like 3 minutes of it being posted because I knew somebody else was gonna get it. But you can check out the last episode if you wanted to see what else was listed that week. So you gotta be fast to get these things. Some of the cooler finishes end up selling for a premium, other ones not so much. I mean, it just depends on a few factors. And towards the end of the week, every week, I do a recap of the coolest ones, in my opinion. So let's see, did they change anything up for their new Gibson exclusive on their website? Nah, just looks like the regular warranty paperwork. This might be something slightly new, like it's a card stock material. I don't remember that. I think last time it was just regular paper. So that's nice. It just discloses, you know, the minor blemishes that might have been on here. You get a little Gibson restoration pick right here. And, ooh, a certificate of authenticity. Now, the guitars that originally had COAs, they throw this in the booklet, but it was just an original collection Les Paul standard, right? So those things are $15.99. Looks like we get all the other standard case candy in here with the strap and stuff too. All right, let's go ahead and throw this on the workbench to take an individual look at its parts and specs. Well, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I am extremely disappointed in the mod shop. Because I just reviewed that School of Rock Les Paul special, so I was really excited to that this bridge pickup, they said they swapped it out for a P90 Sidewinder. And I had this whole speech prepared and ready to teach you guys about those things. However, when I took it out, this is just a regular P90. It's not the Sidewinder that was promised, which is really disappointing because the Sidewinder is a humless P90. So the history of those things go, back in the late 80s, early 90s, they introduced the P100 pickup, which was a stacked P90. They just had two coils stacked on top of each other, kind of like a humbucker, in order to get rid of the hum. However, those fell out of fashion, so then the next time you kind of see them is within like the Billie Joe Armstrong Jr. with the P90H. People generally didn't like those. They wanted one that had the hum because the tone just wasn't the same. But the Sidewinder was specifically used on the 2014 Les Paul and SG Futura series. It was in the neck pickup, and it actually said Sidewinder on the cover. Those things were kind of like the Gibson EBO vintage bass pickups, where they actually called it a Sidewinder because they just had two coils. Instead of being stacked on top of each other, they were stacked side by side, but that's why they called it a Sidewinder. It was a humless P90. But I didn't get that. I was all excited to have a new old stock 2014 pickup in here. Like, I was all ready to call them out for not giving me a coil split on that, because those things are coil splittable because of the way that they're constructed, which isn't something you can normally do with a P90. You can tap them, but you can't split. But anyways, the review must go on. So, Rhythm P90 soap bar in the neck, lead soap bar in the bridge, so nothing fancy here. But I removed the base plates because I was curious what this one started life as. VE stands for Vintage Cherry. Just in case you didn't know, that was kind of a soft release, I believe, around 2020. You can buy these things in a Vintage Cherry Sunburst finish on top of the regular TV yellow. So that's what this one was originally supposed to be. In our bridge pickup, it just says LPSPOO. So that's just like original collection Les Paul special. And you can just see the mahogany body in here. Nothing too fancy. As far as our readings go, 7.87 k ohms in the bridge, neck position 7.92, somewhere in the middle for the middle position, about 4. These pickups utilize 2 springs on the underside to help you set the height adjustment, and they put cream covers on these. Kind of an acquired taste, but it works. I don't think black would have been the right choice for this finish, or maybe it would be. I mean, you can continue to modify these guitars if you want. And you can kind of see what it would look like right there. Just imagine this all blacked out. I think they did the right thing with the cream, though. I would really like to see them continue messing around with this and do like a black border with green, and then the green disappears in the light, kind of what they've done here. That'd be a cool color combination instead of the berry, in case you don't like this. But it's just a regular wrap tail piece. They didn't convert it for like stop bar or anything. But how this does differ from the School of Rock special that we reviewed not too long ago, this does not have the intonation ridge on it, and it's full weight and made by Advanced Plating Incorporated instead of Tone Pros on that last one. As far as our controls here, just standard volumes and tones on the bottom, nothing too fancy there. And underneath our pickguard, here's what it looks like. Nothing hiding. And the pickguard itself is just a multiply black one. So it is a pretty cool finish, right? Maybe not my first choice in the world, but it's very out there and exotic and bizarre. I like it, especially because you have that mahogany wood grain flamage underneath there. It really complements the way that this thing color shifts in the light. But moving on here, we have a mahogany neck with a rosewood fretboard with pearloid plastic inlays, 22 medium jumbo frets, 12-inch fretboard radius, 24 3/4 inch scale length. Nothing crazy on this one with a nice rounded 50s neck profile. Let's go ahead and get the actual dimensions here, which we're looking at a 1.71 inch nut width and 2.11 by the 12th. Like, it's pretty wide. First fret neck depth 0.92, and by the 12th a solid 1.01. Here's that neck profile at the first fret and the 12th fret. It almost moves into slightly D-shaped territory. Definitely a pretty chunky neck. Moving on to the face of the headstock. Nothing too crazy going on with our truss rod. Regular blank truss rod cover right here. Now there is a bit of a cosmetic eyesore right here. I'm not sure if they had to reseat the nut and it destroyed the finish a bit right there, but I would say that is the worst cosmetic blemish on this entire guitar. Now, to be fair, they probably disclosed it somewhere, so you can't really fault them for it, because, you know, it was sold as a blemished model that had been refinished.
So the rest of the headstock, Les Paul Special, silkscreen, Gibson Mother of Pearl logo, and here are those black tuner tips that we've been seeing so much. Now that I've had them in person, they're strange. Because normally Klusons have like a pearlescence to it, like they're a pearloid material, or even they're more green keystone style ones, they still at least look like that. This one is just pure black, so it really does catch your attention. At the end of the day, I think if I email Gibson about it, assuming they even have access to a Sidewinder P90, which I really doubt they do, but maybe they do, I'm going to ask them if they'll send me that pickup. Just take a look at that beautiful finish. I think it's the pick guard that throws this one off for me. I don't know if the black is right, but I think a cream one would be too powerful. You're just kind of stuck in a limbo there. So I guess half and half it is. But now we will swap over to the back side of this. I mean, just take a look at that wood figuring. I'm really glad this example has that because it just makes it a little bit more special on top of being a color shifter. But let's take off these back plates real quick. Nothing looks too crazy in these. So just Gibson branded pots with your regular orange drop capacitors, all hand wired in here. No fancy electronics because you can't do anything fancy with 2 conductor pickups anyways. Output jack on the side. Got your strap buttons in our regular locations, and here's what our 3-way toggle switch looks like. No fancy comfort cuts or anything like that. This is just a regular original collection Les Paul Special. Man, I think I like the back better on this guitar. It's way more apparent that it hides that red undercoat to it, and then that has that blue. I mean, my opinion on this finish is I think they should just do this. It's like flip-flop finishing, but a little bit more different or extreme. Like the burst, it's not going to be everybody's favorite. I think it depends what kind of colors you like. But it's not quite as apparent that it does that flip-flop thing until you look at the back. That's really cool. So back of the neck looks like this. You can see your mahogany wood grain and all the fancy colors. Just gives you the best of all the worlds. 2020, very late in the year, looks like maybe 356, something like that. Made in USA, and our glorious mod stamp. I really wish they would get something fancier than just mod. Like it can say mod, but how about we get like a really big fancy print like the old Gibson prototype stamps? Those things were cool. I think Gibson just needs to rework all their stamps. They were so much cooler back in the 80s. But anyways, here's what our tuners look like, black tipped and all. But as I put it on the scale to weigh it, I got a little less than 8 pounds, 7 pounds, 15.1 ounces. I think I understand what inspired this finish. On TikTok, there's a trend going around about berries and cream. You know, that little guy that would do that weird dance in a Starburst commercial from 2007? Berry burst, cream pickups. Maybe a coincidence, but I guess you could also call this a meme guitar at the same time. All right, let's go ahead, plug it in, and see how it sounds. All right, let's go ahead and grab the tones of the Berries and Cream Les Paul Special here. We'll start with our neck position. Just use some simple stuff so you get the idea. It's nice and mellow sounding, but the more attack you give it, the more it livens up. So from this to this. Now we'll try that bridge P90. But what I really like this guitar for is the middle position. It reminds me of the Jack Stauber song, Buttercup.
You've heard of it, you might not have ever heard his name or the song's name, but it's the one that goes like this. Okay, we'll do it sometime. You've heard it. I don't need to do my whole rendition of the cover, but isn't that like almost spot on to the tone of his album? Great for funky stuff. I really enjoy the clean position right there. So I hope that gives you an idea of the clean tones here. Lots of great mellow tones. But to be fair, I don't really have the pickups that close to the pickups, so if you wanted it to be a bit more aggressive, you're just a personalized setup away. Let's go ahead and grab some distorted tones. The clarity of this guitar, even on that neck pickup. Yeah, that neck pickup on this guitar is fantastic for leads. I just wish I had some better leads to play on it. I can hear it wants to come out though. Now that we know all about this Gibson Les Paul Special from the mod collection, what are my final thoughts on this whole transaction? It's a big bummer that they didn't actually deliver on the specs that they advertised with the Sidewinder in the bridge. But if we're being honest here, I don't really like hum-canceled P90s anyways. I wasn't a big fan of the Sidewinder. It was just, something that made this unique that didn't actually come in it. But hey, it sounds good anyways, so I'm not going to complain too much. It's still a P90 style pickup, and I'm sure they'll probably make it right with me anyways.
This neck pickup. I've had specials before, but I don't know if it's just the way I have this one particularly set up or if there was just a little bit more love put into the windings by the machine on this one. It sounds great. I love it. It's fantastic. This whole finish, you're either gonna love it or hate it. It kind of reminds me of like a space at the same time. You know, it's kind of got like Ultra Nova vibes or something. But I think the back is really where this one's at. It's just a modern day flip-flop finish that's a little bit different than the rest because you can see both of the colors depending on the angle. It's a bit weird. It's a cool translucent finish. So hey, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed checking out this guitar. If you're interested in being the next owner of this one, I just wanted to document it on my show. It will be available on my website, troglysguitarshow.com. As far as QC goes on this thing, I mean, besides what they said, everything seems to check out. Buying from Gibson directly with their mod collection is pretty much no different than buying from their other shop on Reverb, the demo shop. So, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will catch you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.